All right, continuing on this part four. Okay, there's a fungus among us. Everyone's born. Golden dragon in the house. I'm going to read the Declaration of Independence. I believe that this helps create a good framework for the discovery we're opening up and the claims and the arguments that I'm making, the case I have. So the Declaration of Independence in Congress, July 4th, 1776. The unanimous declaration of the 13 United States of America, when in the course of human events it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bonds which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and of nature's God entitle them. A decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to the separation. So here I'm declaring my causes. That's my discovery as well. I'm joining with the Founding Fathers in actions and in deed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights. That among these are life, not exclusive to these, but among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Pretty hard to pursue happiness when you're always in debt and working several jobs just to feed the kids. And there's people making bank off imaginary accounts they created with the inferior powers that were. Okay. That to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men. Or how about the people institute governments among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed, the people. That whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it and to institute new government. And that's what we're doing. The American States Assembly it's happening. Laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. Prudence, indeed, will dictate that governments long established should not be changed for light and transient causes. So, is this a light and transient cause? Well, let's just keep going in our discovery of facts. We shall see. And accordingly, all experience hath shewn that mankind are more disposed to suffer while evils are sufferable. I'm a case in point of that, boy. 42 jobs. Actually, more than 42, but I quit counting at 42 because it's a cool number. 42 different jobs. Always at the bottom. Always being told to work harder. Never enough. Always broke. But not anymore. Then to right themselves by abolishing the forms which they're accustomed. So let me go back. And accordingly, all experience hath shewn that mankind are more disposed to suffer while evils are sufferable than to right themselves by abolishing the forms to which they are accustomed. Okay? So, but too late, dude. I'm abolishing the forms. It's happening before your very eyes. I'm abolishing the forms. And forgive me, audience. It's mostly just people. I mean, I'm using this as my transmitting utility to communicate to the inferior jurisdictions. It's all going on the public record. I mean, they have just harassed and hounded me countless ways, and I'm tired of it. Here's some of my drawings. I actually drew these in prison. Anyways, just want to throw up something of value of mine because oftentimes I've been criticized as one who has no value. If only I'd work harder. Here's an embroidery I did. I'll get to all that later. Yay. So, yeah, I'm abolishing the forms to which I was accustomed. But when a long train of abuses and usurpations, pursuing invariably the same object, which is basically our slavery, evinces a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty to throw off such government and to provide new guards for their future security. Ah, well, here we are, people. We are the new guards. Such has been the patient sufferance of these colonies and these states and these people. And such is now the necessity which constrains them to alter their former systems of government. The history of the present king and the present president and all the presidents that I've experienced of Great Britain and the corporation, the United States, municipal or territorial, or whatever iteration of corporation it might be. The history of the present corporation is a history of repeated injuries and usurpations, all having in direct object the establishment of an absolute tyranny over these states and over these people. To prove this, let facts be submitted to a candid world. The corporation and the CEOs has refused to assent to laws, the most wholesome and necessary for the public good. I was at Standing Rock. 2 weeks I was there, 15 days. Boy, and that was nothing. It was just a bite. And yeah, I think there's a big public record if anyone was paying attention. I mean, refused to assent to our own laws. Broke so many laws to get that pipeline through that just got shut down. Woo! He has forbidden his governors to, I hope that's true. He has forbidden his governors to pass laws of immediate and pressing importance. Our government never passed anything of immediate and pressing importance. Oh, the COVID thing. Won't give us any money. Just want to give us a bunch of vaccines. Unless suspended in their operation till his assent should be obtained. And when so suspended, he has utterly neglected to attend to them. So they're all doing this. I'm not going to just blame one president. They're all doing it. Most of them. I mean, there's some new freshmen in there. We'll see. I mean, most of those have been kind of disappointing, but there's always hope. He has refused to pass, and they are just the corporation. That's not our government. So it's not like I'm trying to be a part of them. It's just a separate thing. They do have a purpose. It's not, but they're just way out of bounds, okay? We need to get them back in their lane. And that's what I'm doing right now by operation of law. And if you're listening, you're part of it. You're part of the operation of law. Yay. We're all in this together. That's what my grandma said before she left. Those the last words. We're all in this together. She's a Williamson. Clan Mackenzie. I shine, I do not burn. Lucille Naoro. Yes, so I want to honor Clan Mackenzie because my grandma on my father's side was Williamson, and they are of the Mackenzie clan. Yeah. Okay. He has refused to pass. This is talking about the King of England, but you see how it's like the same thing? You see how we're dealing with the same thing? And it's when you study this and figure it out, it's not a surprise that actually these corporations are all channeled through the city of London and then to the Vatican. So everything the founding fathers were trying to get away from, everything the colonists were trying to get away from caught up with us, okay? And we are here we're smart enough now. We've evolved to the place where we can handle this. There was a group of people that were super intelligent and just bright, and they kind of carried us. That's a simple version of events, and might not even be right, but that's kind of an idea that works, a working idea, okay? That they kind of carried us, but most of us didn't know, and then later we lost it. We were warned to keep an eye on things, and we did. He has refused to pass other laws for the accommodation of large districts of people, unless those people would relinquish the right of representation in the legislature. A right inestimable to them and formidable to tyrants only. Like our votes that just don't matter. They just take polls, the polling stations, see what we think. Okay, maybe we'll do that. He has called together legislative bodies at places unusual, uncomfortable, and he has called together unusual, uncomfortable, and distant from the. Okay, so he has called together legislative. So the corporation of the United States has called together legislative bodies at places unusual, uncomfortable, and distant from the depository of their public records, for the sole purpose of fatiguing them into compliance with his measures. That's exactly what they're doing now. That's why I'm putting this on the record, because it's this big long process of actually doing it the right way. Fuck. Ugh. This is the right way, by operation of law, by strict necessity. And I'm going to go ahead and finish the job, but this is it, baby. We're doing it right now, and I'm showing the people how to do it. We're all learning it together. Okay. He has dissolved representative houses repeatedly, proposing with manly firmness his invasions on the rights of the people. He has refused. He has refused for a long time, after such dissolutions, to cause others to be elected, whereby the legislative powers, incapable of annihilation, have returned to the people at large for their exercise. See, that has returned to the people at large. So we have to, it's just like it is now. The powers have returned to the people at large because the state is just in gross breach of trust. The state remaining in the meantime exposed to all the dangers of invasion from without and convulsions within. And for the true operating government of the people that is standing back up, I mean, we are vulnerable, but we have God-given natural rights and we have constitutional protections, and ignorance is no excuse. If you're a cop and you just don't know this stuff and you're going to go out there and harass people, your days are over. He has endeavored to prevent the population of these states for that purpose, obstructing the laws for naturalization of foreigners. Refusing to pass others to encourage their migration hither, and raising the conditions of new appropriations of lands. Raising the conditions. He has obstructed the administration of justice by refusing his assent to laws for establishing judiciary powers. Right now, we don't really have any judges on the land that I'm aware of. I hope there's some. But all the judges that I'm aware of are, not all the judges, there are judges. There are judges, but most of what we think of as judges are in the jurisdiction of the sea. They're in the maritime commercial jurisdiction of admiralty. He has made judges dependent on his will alone for the tenure of their offices and the amount of payment of their salaries. He has erected a multitude of new offices and sent hither swarms of officers to harass our people and eat out their substance. The IRS, the FBI, DHS, CIA, Bureau of Land Management, City Police, law enforcement officers, or licensed enforcement officers, lying to their sins enforcement officers. He has kept among us in times of peace standing armies without the consent of our legislators. The people didn't consent to all these bases everywhere and standing army, just a gigantic. I mean, you can't even go see the president get inaugurated, the fake president. Not that the last one wasn't fake too, but I'm just saying, like, the fake president had to get inaugurated surrounded by military. He has effected to render the military independent of and superior to the civil powers. Yep, they keep appointing generals to those civilian checks and balances over the military. He has combined with others to subject us to a jurisdiction foreign to our Constitution and unacknowledged by our laws, giving his assent to their acts of pretend legislation. It's exactly what's happened right now to this day. It's just been repeated. For quartering large bodies of armed troops among us, 50% of the GDP is paying for fucking military. Excuse me again. Excuse that French. Remember I told you I was French. I hope you're watching all the videos. This might not make sense if you just pop it in. For protecting them by a mock trial from punishment for any murders which they should commit on the inhabitants of these states. Look at the police out there executing people in the streets, especially our African Indigo brothers and sisters who are just amazing. We owe them a great, I mean, we don't owe them. They just are owed, they deserve. They built this country for free, and not only for free, they were terribly injured. We should all be cooperating in every way to help the Native American and the African American to be on the land and just have their own homes so they can be safe with their families and be able to build families again. It's not fair to be angry with African people who can't seem to get their families together when they've been subjected to so much abuse. It's crazy. It's insane. They're rightfully angry, but they handle it so graciously, and they're not even getting respect. And the BLM, the Black Lives Matter movement, is just, a lot of times it's a bunch of white kids just all angry being dumb. I mean, All right, I'm going to just tell you right now, because I'm running out of time, that I recommend that you finish reading the Declaration of Independence yourself. I signed it on archives.gov. There's some government archives out there. I love everyone that's listening to this, even if I'm angry with you because you hurt me. Hopefully we can find peace. I'm here. All right, blessings. I'm going to keep going.